Hey, welcome to the podcast. I am super excited to share today's episode with you. Welcome. Make sure that you are subscribed to the Business Beauty Network podcast wherever you're listening. So subscribe. It's free. And share. Sharing is caring. So if you know someone who would benefit from this awesome content, please share it. Also, we are now on YouTube at Biz Beauty Network. So check out our YouTube channel. You can actually listen to this episode on YouTube and watch it live there. So check us out there. We will be dropping some of the episodes on YouTube, as well as the midweek beauty news episodes will always be on YouTube on every other Wednesday. So make sure you connect with us there. If you have any questions or suggestions for the podcast, you can email us at hello@businessbeautynetwork.com. Also, have you checked out our new website? We have an awesome new website, businessbeautynetwork.com. Check it out and let us know what you're thinking. You can watch the video there. You can listen to the podcast there. You can contact us there as well. So definitely check that out. But now that all of that is out of the way, I have an awesome episode in store for you. Hollie K's midweek beauty news is today, and she has dropped some awesome content for us. It's such a fun episode, and I think it's a great fun spin to have to the Business Beauty Network podcast, because I know it could be a bit business, but Hollie's episode is fun. So I really hope you guys are enjoying it. Like I said, email me or DM me in Instagram and let me know what you're thinking. My Instagram is I am Brandy Taylor, so at I am Brandy Taylor. Connect with me there. And you can also connect with Hollie at _Hollie K on Instagram. So connect with us both. Let us know how you're enjoying this content, and make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. But now that all of that is out of the way, here is the midweek beauty news with Hollie K, where she shares everything beauty, fashion, and trends.
This is Midweek Beauty News with Hollie K, where we cover beauty, fashion, and trends. So this episode, I'm excited because it is the award season special episode. Yes, I made that up and came up with it, but I found it fitting for the things that I'm going to talk about. The last episode, I shared with you how I was looking forward to talking about the Oscars, and maybe I spoke some things into existence because I got a little bit more than I expected when I watched it. I'm sure a lot of you did, if you know what I'm talking about. And then the week later, the Grammys aired on TV. So I figured, why not roll it all into one episode? Let's talk about some of the beauty and fashion trends that we saw and roll a little bit of that chit chat into the conversation as well. Now, I do have one little correction to make. On the last episode, I stated how Kanye West was pulled from performing at the award show, but I did state the wrong show. He was removed from being a performer for the Grammys, and at the time I stated it was the Oscars and that Trevor Noah was the host. Trevor Noah was the host of the Grammys and not the Oscars. So now that I've got that all cleared up, let's dive on into it, and we're going to start with the Oscars. So this year it was honestly, aside from the foolishness that occurred, which I'll touch on, it was a really great year and a lot of firsts. They had three female hosts. So the hosts this year were Amy Schumer. We also had Wanda Sykes, as well as Regina Hall, and they worked together. Like, they just had a good flow, a good bond. They were funny. I really liked how they kind of got into different characters. It just kept the audience engaged. So they did a wonderful job. And then another first was having Will Packard as the producer of the show. And so the way he structured the show, I really liked that. It stood out to me, even down to the music that they had playing in between, like presenters or going out to commercials. So one thing, if you didn't catch it, that had to do with the structuring of the show was that he had different types of music be happening every hour of the show, so for all 3 hours. So the first hour, you had DJ Nice, so he was DJing that first hour. The second hour, they had a live band. And then the third hour, they actually had a symphony that had Black conductors. So hats off to him. I'm a music lover, so that did definitely stand out to me. And I hope this opens up so many other great opportunities for him. So talking a bit about some of the celebrities and what they are wearing and some of the trends, let's start with Beyonce. So Beyonce opened up the show, and her song when she was singing, and even her set and her attire for her, as well as the performers, including Blue Ivy. Did you catch that Blue Ivy was in there? She was in the front dancing and kind of singing along, so good job for her as well. But she went with that monochrome look. So similar to what we saw from Valentino during Paris Fashion Week, where he had the all pink monochrome set as well as clothing. She had like a lime color, and that really taps into those bold, bright neon colors that are predicted for the season of spring. And I did see that kind of carry over into the fashion for other celebrities who were in attendance at this event. One thing that also stood out to me was her makeup. She had a nice glowing cheek. And you know, Beyonce, honestly, she kind of keeps it kind of low key, really just nice, flawless skin. But she always has like a nice highlight. But she had But she had a really bright standout highlight. She had a pink-ish light purple eye for her eyeshadow with a inner quarter highlight. So that silver inner quarter highlight. So again, tapping into those trends. You know, Beyonce, she's always going to be with it. But again, it was very on trend with what's been predicted for the spring as well as going into the summer. And then when she changed later, her dress that she wore for the actual award ceremony, it was like a yellow colored dress. And that dress was by Valentino. It was a custom dress as well for her, going back to those nice bright colors. And she looks amazing as always. When does she not? Another thing that I noticed was really popular this year, besides the bright colors, was also the color red. So when I think of red, I feel like red just gives you like, it's like a statement of power. Like you just feel confident, you move differently. And I feel like for going to an award show, especially with the hopes of winning something, why not go for a color like that? So that was another very popular color that I saw a lot of different celebrities wearing. Some celebrities I saw wearing it were Tracee Ellis Ross. She had on a red dress, and it also had like a nice, I don't want to call it a cape, but shoulder piece, like a drape, I should say, that she took off at some point. But that dress was by Carolina Herrera. And then we saw Rosie Perez. Yes, Rosie Perez came out because it was the anniversary year for White Men Can't Jump. So her, as well as her co-stars, came out and presented an award. But she wore red, and she looked classic and timeless in that red dress by Siriano. And then the actress, the main actress for the movie West Side Story, which came out a few months ago, Ariana DeBose, she wore red as well, and she didn't win. And she had on like a red pantsuit with the bustier, and that was by Valentino. So quite a bit of red, and those were the three that really stood out to me. Going back to our bright and bold colors, another person that I saw that stood out to me with that was her. So her actually had on like a yellow high-low dress, and it was the tail-up. It was nice and flowing, and that was by Carolina Herrera. I also noticed some of like rich and royal greens. When I see like those emerald greens, I call it money green. And I feel like that's just like a color of royalty to me as well. Because like I said, I think of money, so I think of royalty. And so Jada Pinkett Smith, although I hope it's okay for me to say her name. I just played. She had on green as well. Now, I will say, I haven't really been the biggest fans of her looks lately. However, that color looked great on her. I mean, when I say the biggest fan, I'm thinking, talking more so along the cuts of the dresses that she's been wearing. They're very large, long sleeve. And I just feel like she really gets lost in those style of dresses. But again, the color looked amazing on her. But I do feel like she gets a little swallowed up in those larger pieces. And this particular dress was by Jean-Paul Gaultier. Another person that had on, not exactly the same shades of green, but I noticed both of her dresses were in the same color family, was Tiffany Haddish. So she wore more of like an emerald green dress to the actual award ceremony, and it had pretty much like diamonds all over it. That was by Dolce & Gabbana, and she looked flawless. I like how she always gives props to her team. So she'll shout out her stylist, her hairstylist, her makeup artist, who was King Molly. If you don't know anything about her, you're in the beauty world, go follow, learn some things. That lady is amazing. But you could tell Tiffany has stepped it up with her team that she has around her, because her look has just been elevated. And then their after parties they have, you often see celebrities change. And so the reason I pointed out her 2 dresses is because this was another shade of green. But again, she looked flawless. And Tiffany had to correct somebody, and I wasn't mad at her for it. So, you know, of course, they get interviewed. People are asking who they're wearing or things like that. And it was a reporter from E! And she said something along the lines like, oh, you did a costume change, or who you wear for your costume change. And she quickly corrected her by saying, this isn't a costume. And she let her know this is a gown by Dolce & Gabbana. And I was so happy that Tiffany corrected her. I'm sorry, just to be honest, I feel like they wouldn't try certain people like that. And they tried her. So maybe you don't take her serious because she's a comedian, or how she's joked in the past about wearing, you know, her same dress, she's going to get her money's worth, whatever it may be. But how dare you approach her like that? Approach her with some respect. And so I'm glad that she spoke up and said something. But Tiffany, you looked amazing, girl. So keep it up. Keep the team you have. And if you don't, keep elevating. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about the slap her around the world. And we're going to leave it alone, because I know people already said we should drop it and leave it alone. But I'm going to talk about it because I haven't had a chance to talk about it. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, at this point, you should have been 2 weeks. But if you don't, you know I got you. I'm going to fill you in. So Chris Rock was the presenter for an award, and he made a joke about Jada. Now, one thing, if you haven't noticed, or I feel like I've noticed when I'm watching awards, is I feel like they're going to put seats in the front rows, people who are possibly going to win an award. And also, you know, those top celebrities that people want to see, they're going to put them up front. So Jada and Will were sitting on the front row. He was up for Actor of the Year. And just kind of based off the conversations and things people said it's long overdue. And just based off of his performance in the movie King Richard, people already kind of predicted like, okay, this is his year. He's going to get it. And this is literally like 2 categories before his category. And Chris Rock makes a joke in reference to Jada having a short haircut, saying how she could make a G.I. Jane 2 movie. So, of course, that did not sit well necessarily with her. And I've heard a lot of people kind of say, like, well, Will kind of laughed. And then I guess maybe he looked over her, so she thought it wasn't funny. So Will walks up to the stage, and he walks up casually. And we've seen Will walk up before, maybe, you know, kind of play like, I'm going to do something. I'm thinking maybe he's about to crack a joke or whatever. And he slaps Chris Rock, like just straight up, just smacked him. And I'm like everybody else, thinking like, this is a joke. Like, what's going on? Like, and then I'm stopping. I'm like, wait, did he slap him for real? Like, no, this is for real. And then I noticed there's no sound happening, and the TV kind of froze. So, of course, to Black Twitter I go, because I'm like, if anybody know, they know. But Australian Twitter has, because guess what? The sound did not get muted over there. The TV did not get muted in their country. So I'm seeing posts from them. And then we were able to clearly hear Chris Rock state that, yes, Will Smith had slapped him. And then Will Smith casually walked back to his seat. Y'all, did he look like he was in the Wild Wild West, the movie? With the outfit and the way he walked? Okay, yeah. But he goes back to his seat and sits down. And then he proceeds to yell out, keep my wife's name out of your blanket mouth. And he said it twice. So now I'm like, oh, Lord, what the people gonna say about us? And, you know, of course, we shouldn't care. I heard all they shouldn't care. We shouldn't be saying they ain't going to invite us. But, of course, we naturally going to joke like that. But I do, my personal opinion, not saying you shouldn't stand up for your significant other. I'm not saying that at all. It's not ignoring the fact that, yes, he is human. And, yes, he has feelings and people only take so much. But clearly, I feel like there was more and it's built up. They've been through a lot this past year. Will has been through a lot. So it's kind of like Chris was the one who caught a lot of like probably that built up frustration and anger. And I'm probably sure like nerves and anxiety, wanting to get the award, but also with all the other stuff he's been dealing with. If you're familiar with kind of him and Jada's, what they've had going on. but I do feel like